In the dusty corners of a forgotten garage, hidden beneath decades of grime and rust, a true beast from the Soviet era lay dormant. Once a symbol of durability, power, and sheer industrial grit, this 1960s Ural M62 motorcycle, complete with its iconic sidecar, was more than a machine. It was a relic of history, a testimony to Soviet engineering, and a loyal companion of countless stories across rugged terrains. And today, this heavy 650cc giant is getting a second chance at life. Welcome to another chapter in our ambitious restoration journey. In this video, we're diving deep into the transformation of this mighty chopper. What once stood as a motionless shell of forgotten glory is gradually returning to its original, roaring form. This is not just mechanical work. It's art, passion, and dedication rolled into one. If you're as fascinated by old Soviet engineering as we are, you'll want to watch every bolt, every weld, and every turn of this amazing revival. The Ural M62 was never just a motorcycle. Built in the thick of the Cold War, these machines were engineered not for speed or style but for survival. With a max speed of 105 km per hour, it may not sound fast by today's standards, but the M62 was built to conquer rough roads, forests, swamps, and even frozen tundras. Its powerful 649cc four-stroke, two-cylinder engine was designed to endure conditions where most modern bikes would simply give up. Despite the rust and the layers of peeling paint, the bike's bones were solid. The first step in the restoration process was assessment and disassembly. We carefully took apart the sidecar, removed the tank, stripped down the engine, and evaluated every inch of the frame. While time had done its damage, the bike had retained much of its structure. The dry mass of 330 kilograms, including the sidecar, tells you just how heavy-duty this machine is. Even with its high fuel and oil consumption, 8.5 liters and 6 liters per 100 kilometers respectively, it was built to carry a full load of 260 kilograms including the driver and two passengers. That's an incredible feat, especially for a motorcycle from the 1960s. Restoring this Soviet powerhouse wasn't easy. We had to deal with seized bolts, rusted bearings, broken seals, and more. The engine, once frozen solid, had to be meticulously cleaned, inspected, and rebuilt. The cylinder displacement of 649cc and a nominal power output of 32 horsepower at a crankshaft speed of 4,805 OR per minute make it a formidable force when fully functional. The rated bore of 78 mm and piston stroke of 68 mm ensure smooth combustion when maintained correctly. We also restored the overhead valve configuration and brought back the original compression ratio of 6.8-7.2, staying as true as possible to factory specs. But it's not just about getting the engine to run. The heart of this motorcycle lies in its mechanics, and the soul lies in its design. The Ural M62 with its sidecar is a symbol of Soviet functionality and practical aesthetics. At a length of 2,490 mm, a width of 1,700 mm, and a height of 1,100 mm with the sidecar, it has a massive road presence. Even with a minimum ground clearance of 125 mm, it could handle challenging off-road terrains with surprising ease. One of the more fascinating features of this bike is its lubrication system, a hybrid of forced and splash lubrication. This dual system was developed to enhance engine longevity and performance under adverse conditions. While modern motorcycles rely heavily on electronic control and fluid dynamics, this was pure mechanical genius, relying on smart design rather than software. During restoration, we gave attention to every detail. The wheels were dismantled and spokes cleaned or replaced, hubs greased, and tires checked for signs of dry rot. The fuel tank, heavily rusted inside, was treated with a rust remover and sealed properly. The carburetors, clogged with debris and decades-old fuel residue, were completely overhauled. Fresh gaskets, new rubber lines, and a complete wiring harness were added to bring back life into the system. The electrical system, although rudimentary compared to modern bikes, was a challenge in itself. Restoring the generator, checking every connection, and ensuring the ignition system worked flawlessly required precision and patience. Once complete, we fired up the engine, and what a moment it was. The deep, thunderous growl of the restored M62 echoed across our workshop like the heartbeat of a sleeping giant returning to life. The aesthetics followed next. Stripping away layers of old paint revealed hidden scars, dents, and welts that told stories of a hard-lived life. We chose a finish that honored its military past, matte olive green with minimalistic red detailing. The seat, reupholstered in durable weatherproof material, offered both comfort and vintage appeal. The sidecar, restored with new panels and flooring, was repainted and given a soft leather cover for a final touch of class. Every moment spent on this project was about respect, for the machine, for its era, and for the craftsmanship of those who originally built it. Soviet motorcycles like the Ural M62 weren't just transportation, they were survival tools, used by soldiers, farmers, and workers across the vast and unforgiving Russian landscape. They hauled wood, crossed rivers, carried supplies, and sometimes, saved lives. Our goal was never to create a museum piece but to return this beast to working condition, capable of roaring down a gravel road once again, wind in its spokes and fire in its engine. One of the final touches was tuning the bike for rideability. With a nominal torque of 4.5 kg/Fm, this machine packs serious low-end power, ideal for hauling weight or traversing inclines. We adjusted the suspension, checked road clearance, and went through a rigorous test ride. Though it's a heavy machine at 330 kilograms dry weight, once in motion, it flows surprisingly smoothly. The sidecar adds balance and an extra sense of stability, making it both a nostalgic and practical ride. As we completed the restoration, a wave of emotion swept over our team. Bringing something back from the dead, especially something with this much historical and mechanical weight, is always a powerful experience. This Ural M62 now stands as a living, breathing reminder of what machinery used to mean. Not just speed, not just style, but strength, resilience, and raw utility. So here it is, our restored 1960s Soviet chopper, a 650cc monster reborn from rust and memory. If you've enjoyed watching this journey, we ask you to support us with a like or comment. Your engagement fuels our motivation to take on more of these incredible projects. There's more to come, more machines, more stories, and more restorations from the depths of history. Thank you for joining us. Ride safe, ride free, and never forget, every bolt has a story, and every machine has a soul.